Welcome back to No Bias Hoops. Today, we're going to be talking about a potential Spurs offseason that nobody is thinking about. The Spurs currently have the 4th and 8th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, and many think that there's a chance that they could be trading one of those picks, or two. And a lot of the talk is about Trae Young, them probably staying pat one more year and maybe going for someone like Malcolm Brogdon just to help this team get better but not jump the gun. But I think that there's a player on the market that nobody else thinks is on the market, and that player is De'Aaron Fox. Now, it would be a bit of a shocker if the Kings were to trade De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, but here's my reasoning. The Kings just missed the playoffs, and I know that they had injuries. They had Kevin Huerter getting injured, Malik Monk, there's someone else I'm forgetting about, but after having such a good season last year and choking, and this team obviously not being really a championship contender, nothing more than a playoff contender, and with how good the West is getting, as much as it might pain Kings fans or just anyone associated with the Kings, it's probably time to go back into a rebuild, which obviously that's horrible, but their only other option is to buy big. They have to add something like huge this offseason, which I mean there are a lot of small forwards on the market, which is what this team needs, but at the end of the day, I think De'Aaron Fox could become available, and here's why. The Spurs would be the number one team to get him, other than maybe the Thunder, because in a trade, they could possibly send Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, Malachi Branham, the 4th or the 8th pick, or both, and then tons of Hawks picks and tons of Spurs picks. It would be just about a no-brainer for the Kings to accept this trade if they were planning on going to a rebuild. And this would be interesting because I feel like De'Aaron Fox would fit well alongside Victor Wembanyama. He would be able to make his own shot as well as create for Wembanyama. He's a speedy, fast, good defender. Along with Wembanyama's defensive skills, they would immediately become one of the better defensive teams in the league, or better defensive duos in the league. Obviously, the rest of the roster would take some work, which is why I would only really see them as a play-in team next season. But that is a crazy offseason scenario I could see for the Spurs. To be honest, I don't know what the Spurs will do. I think if they're staying in the draft, they're going to trade up. They want Risache, or if Dillingham is available at 4, they would want him. They want someone to pair alongside Wemby, but that's why I think they should trade the 4th pick to the Kings, and at 8, draft Dalton Knecht, who is a ready-to-win now player with solid potential with a pretty high floor, and that would be interesting to pair with De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. I could also see the Spurs just going for someone like maybe, like I said, Malcolm Brogdon, just because they have to make this roster better. They have to make Wembanyama a roster where he can at least make the play-in, because, I mean, I'm sure Wembanyama isn't ready to leave after 2 seasons. That's pretty ridiculous. But the Spurs have an interesting future because they already have their franchise guy. They have tons of draft picks, a bunch of good young players, but I just don't see their young players growing with the team. They don't seem mature enough, and I'm sure they could get there. But I would only expect one of their young players, like no specific one in general, but just only one of their young players to really stay with this team. I think most of them will get flipped in trades to get better players. But let me know what you think about Spurs, their offseason, and see you next time on No Bias Hoops.